It's been an absolute geological epoch since I last uploaded a video, and that's not on purpose. There's the usual excuses of life getting in the way and just not having enough time, but to be honest, that's a complete lie. Thinking about it and being completely honest with myself, there is one reason. I'm just afraid to be slow. I hate saying that too, because if anyone says to me that they don't want to race online because they think they're just too slow, I'm always going to tell them, stop being stupid, just get out there, have fun. It's all about you, the car, the track, and the battles. It doesn't matter who wins. If you're having fun, then you're doing it the right way. Thing is though, that's a whole lot of do as I say, not as I do, because I could be racing all the time, but I'm just not. And why is that? I'll spare you my complete life story, but the TLDR is this. I used to be what most people would call an alien. In the background I am playing the very first video I ever uploaded to this channel. If you're in the Asian region, you should recognize some of those names I'm beating in this race, usually with their name in the #1 spot on the leaderboards. And maybe I'll throw in some poorly taken screenshots of me in the top 10 stars. The point of showing all this is not some ego trip, I just want to explain a little of my psyche and why I expect myself to win. But times change. Life changes. Back in the day when I was a dominant force, I would pop up some text when I won. It said, "To be this good takes ages." Now, if you know, you know. It's an old Sega marketing campaign and that's why I had it up there. Most people would just think it's pure ego. But I really loved it, not just for the Sega reference, because it did take ages. Back in the day, there were some weeks where I could spend easily 40 hours a week plus, just gaming online. That's crazy nowadays. Nowadays, my world is completely different. I don't get to sit around all day playing a game, and what's worse, I change games constantly. So even if by some magic I do get the time to play, it's going to be a different game each time, and by the time I'm used to the driving model, it's usually time for bed. So I've just got to abandon my old expectations. I don't need to start on pole, I don't need to set the fastest lap, and I certainly don't need to see my name in lights on the leaderboards. I constantly tell others that it's all about the pure joy of racing. I need to stop being such a hypocrite and just get out there. So today I just wanted to show you my unfiltered return to playing after a really long break. I expect to suck, I will suck, but I also expect to enjoy it all the same. First up I hit up Daily A because, come on, it's a K-truck around Tokyo, how am I going to resist that one? So I slap on a decal and hit the track, which leaves me more than a little confused. I mean, the point of this is to show me being slow, and that's okay, but come on, they're slow and then they're slow. After far longer than I want to admit, sitting there being perplexed as to why I'm too slow, it finally dawned on me. Snap, you can tune. So some shopping later, I had a much faster truck. Still pretty slow though. Maybe it's the gears, but nah, getting smashed anyway. Deciding it must be the truck that's wrong. I bought another one. Tuned the old school way of just maxing out everything, then using the power restrictor and ballast to bring the PP down. It was a bit faster, but a bit of a pig to drive though. And I was amazed that being over 5 seconds off the pace still got me 4th on the grid. With how tricky this little truck is to drive in qualifying, my aim here is just not to crash too much. Off the line it's going pretty well, I even get a boost from a fast starter with nowhere else to go. It's not too long before the two behind try their hand at murder, but I managed to escape down the road and hold on to 3rd. For a little while. Dotte takes away my 3rd place, and not too long after that, Sir G just blasts past and puts paid to any hopes I had of a good result. That's when we drop down to 6th before Yudi starts doing something that I'm sure he considers driving. He pulls away a little bit, but then it gets interesting. He gets a bad exit and he's slow down the straight. It looks like I'm just going to blow by, but then I don't. Instead, he just starts to pull away. Of course, it doesn't last and I'm back on him again, and back in the wall. And back in front, till he can finish the job and even the postman passes me. By the end it's 7th, and if I've learnt one thing, it's that I need to buy yet another K-Truck. This time I went to visit Google and I wasn't coming back till I had a parts list and a tune that won't see me left standing on every straight. And yeah, this already feels faster, if a little crashy. But the lap time doesn't lie, I'm into the respectable 39s now. Right from the start I'm having a great battle here with Tomo. I was hitting 160 last time here, but in this new build I'm hitting 180 and still accelerating. But you know, this was meant to be a video all about enjoying racing back in the pack, but when there's this sniff of victory, I just can't help but go for it. That little scrape of the wall didn't stall Tomo for long, and he nicely sends it up the inside here to reclaim the top spot. But again, my truck is no slouch anymore, and try as he might, he's not going to pass me around the outside here. That was a big mistake, the mistake I needed to take the pressure off for a nice win. And that's where I called it a day, but a few days later. Okay, now this is the kind of race I just love. Stock old cars on street tires. I did have 10 minutes of qualifying, which put me way higher on the grid than I was comfortable with for my first race. Starting out, I was surprised with how easily I was keeping up with the car in front. Till this turn, I went woefully wide, and from that point on, I was sure Ernest was just going to sail off into the sunset. And that's exactly what the dude did. I was in this no man's land the entire race, being far too slow for first, but far too fast for third. It's race 2 now, and all of a sudden, I'm on pole somehow, largely because half the field haven't bothered to even set a lap. Off the line, I managed to get a decent gap, and honestly, that's all that happened in this entire race. But there is a reason why I chose Daily A to start with. I've always been fast in stock cars. That's why I'm going to have to graduate to at least Daily Race B. No practice for this one either, it's straight in, and I'm really afraid of missing a braking point and wiping out the entire field. But so far so good, I'm at least not being left for dead. At the second big braking point I'm a little cautious, and it nearly pays off with the BMW visiting the wall, but his pace in a straight line sees him get away with it. By lap 2 I've somehow picked up a penalty, but that's the last of my issues. Without the reference of the pack ahead, I really don't know where to brake. By the end, I'm so far down the order, my name doesn't even appear on the screen. Still starting last because I prefer to race rather than qualify. This time though, I more or less know where to brake, and look at that, I managed to pass someone. Gold star for me. I even pass another one when the Supra gets it all wrong in a straight line. I even passed this Ferrari, which for a second I thought he was going to do this wall of death around the outside and completely embarrass me. But in the end, I got the job done. I'm doing way better than I expected. Only 13th, but seriously, I have no clue what I'm doing. After getting a run on the 2 ahead, I think for a second I'll just get both of them, before being Verstappen by the guy in the Red Bull.
Okay, he pushed me off the track. I think you have to leave a space. All the time you have to leave a space.
I pick up one place as Old Mike tries to pit, then I get the pleasure of passing Max Verstappen again. This time he doesn't choose violence, but instead follows me through as I take the Supra. And another Supra. And I kinda murder this Lambo. I'm sorry, okay? That left me losing 2 places with Mr. Angry flashing his lights all up in my mirror. I tried to pass for 9th, but it turns out you can't just drive through cars, and Mr. Angry jumps me, putting me back in 11th. Oh, 12th? Nope, 11th or 10th. Seriously, a lot happened in that corner. I get a run on Mr. Hopefully calmed down by now, and I'm so careful not to bump him that I just let him drive right around the outside of me. Now that is somewhere you should never be passed. Round 2, this time I get it done on the straight, but I still don't know much about this section of the track and just resort to making my car wide. Oh, that was a plan, but I opened the door for him and he just sails up the inside to take away ninth. It was a fun race though. So much fun. I'm just going to do it again. It's that first big corner again, and I thought I braked way too early, but then somehow I ran wide anyway. It was all good though, because the others battling was keeping me in play, till their battles became mine. So it's all the way back to last, but now there's a big sizable gap to the field and that valuable slipstream. I had this nice little battle for last with Juji here. I just kept catching him just before a braking zone where he would go all defensive and I had no answer for it. But then I think I had him here though. It turns out I didn't even have my car. That was really it for that depressing race. One last shot then. It starts out well with the NSX grinding on the outside, and then into this corner, it was a 2-for-1. But my lack of form is showing here and I butcher the exit, allowing that Supra to run with me. That jump scare gives me 12th before the BMW gets a little too throttle happy, handing me the 11th position. I thought for a moment that I had 10th here, but I just had to sit in behind and see what happens, which it turns out was a slipstream paddle that I noped out of because I'm not quite sure where to brake here, but I clobber 8th anyway. After someone clobbers me back, I'm somehow 10th. This race has actually gone pretty well. Another jump scare sees me 9th and I get a great run on 8th, getting the move done even before the corner. Or so I thought, but my timid braking with some shoving from behind sees me back to, well, 8th, thanks to another spinner. Briefly here, my eyes light up for a second. I'm thinking I'm going to get 6th and 7th here, but all I end up doing is annoying 7th before finishing a middle of the pack 8th. And you know, I was right at the start. I'm having a blast. Whether I'm dead last, first, fighting in the middle of the pack, it doesn't matter. A nice move still gives me a buzz either way. As long as I'm improving here and there, as long as I'm driving to my ability, then I'm going to be racing with a smile. It's why many days later I went back, after installing the prerequisite update. This time I threw myself right into the deep end at Spa. This first turn was just pure chaos. I went in last and came out 14th, right on the tail of this guy. But instead of waiting for his 4-second penalty to remove him from my bumper like a sane person, I decided I was just going to send it, which worked really well. Yeah, so that one accomplished nothing. I had no choice but to sit in for a while. I didn't mind, I needed time to learn this car anyway. When it finally came for his atonement though, someone else was in the barrier too. In one lap I was up to 12th. Make that 11th on lap 2. But then my lack of touch on the throttle at Pablo Zeskibra, you can always count on an Aussie for a great name, in turn which sees Zeno taking a run at me. I mean, fair play to him on the outside. I thought he was going to plow straight into Pablo Zeskibra. Up the hill, he just can't shake me out of his slipstream, and honestly, I had no right to be making this pass you're gonna see. Most drivers would just give you the chop here, but respect to Zeno, you really support clean racing. Dude, what the hell, I was just praising you. But nah, so good. It was obvious it was just a mistake and he didn't try to capitalize on it at all. From there I did my best to catch 11th, but I just didn't quite make it in time. The point of all this though was to show just how good racing is no matter what your skill level and no matter where you're finishing. I mean, I had some wins, some dead last results, but mostly good middle of the pack racing. I enjoyed it just as much as any night spent dominating a track.